are videotaping this presentation. So if any of you are wanted by the FBI, now would be a time for you to sit behind the camera. Okay, we're not going to kick you out or anything like that. We're not going to turn you in. Okay, so this particular skill is called high-yielding questions. I'm going to give you guys some cheat notes, so you don't have to take too much of your brain power keeping notes. I'm going to give you everything that we're talking about right here. Okay, so we're just going to put our listening ears on, as they say in kindergarten. And can you tell I was a substitute teacher? But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about high-yielding questions, how this changed my professional life, how it changed me personally, and then we're going to segue into asking for the business, transition statements into setting up a presentation, and we're going to talk about tie downs, and then going in for the close. Okay, does that sound like something you guys could use in your business? Definitely. Have you guys raised your hand if you've ever walked away from a conversation going, wow, that could have gone a lot better? Just a few of you? 100%? How about you? Every day, sure. Probably. Yep. So I could have upsold them on that tuna melt. Anyway, high-yielding questions are really critical. And the reason why is that oftentimes in this industry, what we are compelled to do, and actually what we're kind of taught to do, is just to go out and talk about how excited we are about our business. Is that right? It's like the first few things they ask you to do is set a goal for your business, make a names list, and then start calling all your friends and family and tell them about your brand new business. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment? Fair. Okay. The big disconnect between you and your prospect is that they don't really care, right? You've been in this business for a long time. They don't care about you and what you care about. What do they care about? What's in it for them? Exactly. How is it that we find out what it is people care about? What are their passions? What are their needs? What are their desires? What do we have to do in order to extrapolate that information from people? Ask questions. Now, in the old days, and you've been in this industry, Diane's been at this forever, in the old days, people were very private about their needs, wants, and desires. It was all about, you know, what we were projecting as being all together, we're all good. In today's society, we are all about reality TV. We tell everybody everything, and literally you can meet a stranger. They will tell you about their financial situation. They'll tell you about their work situation. They will tell you about, you know, their messed up family or the fact they're upside down on their mortgage, whatever. It's really kind of fascinating, and I think it actually makes our job a lot easier. So to our advantage, what we need to do is structure a conversation in a way that yields what it is that they need. Here's something that I learned probably within the last 6 months. And for a long time, I did this industry not knowing this, and it was crippling my business not knowing what I'm going to share with you guys right now. People don't care about information, okay? They care about emotions. They care about the things that are going to compel them to be in a better place. So what we want to try and do is lead them through a process in our dialogue. And I can do this like in 10 or 15 minutes socially now with such ease that they don't even realize what it is that I'm doing. It's not manipulative. It's very sincere and it's heart level. But what I'm looking to find out is where are they today? Okay, what is their situation? You can use form, family, occupation, recreation, money as a framework for that. But basically, I want to understand what it is that is their situation today. I want to understand where it is they'd rather be, because most of us have discontent with some element of our life. Okay, all of our businesses here, regardless of what company you're with, we have a solution. We have a solution for our day-to-day needs. We have a solution for a financial solution, right? So all you really have to do is just start bringing people down this path of understanding where they are today, where do they want to be. The key part of this whole dialogue is the emotional part. How is it going to feel when they are there? Okay, so let's say, for example, somebody wants to go travel with their family to Hawaii. Your job is to take them on a visceral journey of what they're going to do when they're there. Where do they like to stay? What island do they want to go to? What sort of excursions would they do? Sights, smells, sounds, tastes. You know, Hawaii is such a great example because it is such a unique feeling when you're there. So we're talking about feeling, and people connect to emotions. Emotions are sensory, right? Okay, so the whole key through the process of saying, wow, cool, what would you do when you're in Hawaii? Well, you know, we have always wanted to go see those live volcanoes. Oh my gosh, so would you see it from the land or would you be out on a boat? Because they have all these different ways, you know, helicopter. What would that look like? Just be conversational and take them to a place. Because once people start going on this little journey in their mind of being there and they're describing it to you, guess what? Your brain doesn't know the difference. Isn't that amazing? I didn't realize that. So when I started talking to people about my business, I was bombarding them with the facts and the figures and the science and why it's all that, and what the doctors are saying, and here's what we know about this, and here's what they say about that, and experts do this, and the people were just like, you know, glazed over. They didn't care. They care about what they care about. So what I was totally ignoring was what they care about. I had no clue what they cared about. So it makes following up really difficult, because if somebody's not connecting to an outcome, so I'm going to get back to that point in just a moment, but if they're not emotionally connecting to an outcome, they will not take action in any way, shape, or form. They won't look further at your business. They won't go to your website. They won't even taste your sample with any sort of connection as to what the end result is. So let's go back to that whole point. You have to start with the end in mind. In RI training, we call it a condition of victory. We really want to measure whether we were successful in a discussion. So when we say start with the end in mind, which is not a new concept in this industry, really what we're trying to determine is, have I taken myself and the prospect to this place where we know if I'm successful. So an example would be if I go to a networking event like this, a condition of victory for me is that I want to connect with 5 of you on a deeper level than just exchanging business cards and, you know, a high-level introduction. I want to understand what it is that you're all about, what's going on in your work, tell me a little bit about what you need, how can I support you? That's really the intention for me when I come to an event like this, okay? How can I bring a prospect to your business? Who can I connect you with? So that to me is a condition of victory. When I walk out of here in a couple of hours, I'm going to know whether I was successful in achieving that. Make sense? Okay, so when you're calling a prospect, and let's say, I don't know how many of you are doing online lead generation, but let's say, for example, somebody comes to your website and they're inquiring about what it is that you're all about and what your solution is. If you pick up the phone and connect with them, your job is simply to build rapport. Sushi coming in. So understanding a condition of victory of contacting could be to build rapport. It could be to get them to take a closer look at your business opportunity. It could be to see what their needs are. What are their needs financially? What are their needs from a business perspective, health and wellness, whatever it is, okay? So the purpose of contacting is twofold. Determine their need, number 1. What is the need that you have a solution for? And number 2, to set an appointment. The purpose of contacting is not to present. And oftentimes people will take you down this path of, well, what's this all about? And we're going to address that because you really want to circumvent that question and put the solution in a presentation. That's the difference between a professional and a hack. Okay, because there are a lot of people out there that will just vomit all over you. Have you ever been vomited on?
Oh, heavens, yes.
Do you guys want to be that kind of a person? Okay, a professional doesn't do that. If you guys, the fact that you guys are here in this room right now, you've already separated yourself from the flock. Okay, you are taking very specific intentional action in your business. You are a professional in my mind. Okay, hacks are just, they're walking down the street and anybody that comes within 3 feet of their personal space, they're going to share with. That is not fair. It's not fair to the person that you're talking to. It's not fair to your business. It's not fair to your company and the products and really the solution that they provide through that. Are we all in agreement on that? Awesome. Okay, so let's dive right into high-yielding questions because we really have to fast forward through this content. So I'm going to pass this out to you. Some of my sister friends have heard this presentation, and I'm going to actually, here, let me just hand a few out. So I presented to these guys and their awesome little networking group on high-yielding questions. We're going to talk at a high level about what high-yielding questions I use, and then we're going to transition into statements that move you into a place of presenting, tie-downs, and then asking for the business. Okay, so we have to make a lot of work here. So high-yielding questions are a little bit like this. There are 6 of them, okay? So the first one is a diagnostic question. You really just want to understand, hey, what's up? And literally, that's the kind of language that I use. When I'm out socializing, when I'm in a business environment, I'll just say, so what's your story? That's my language. You pick something that works for you, but really that will get the ball rolling, okay? Next statement is implicating. And yeah, it's halfway down. You'll see the bullet points, 1, 2, 3.
They ran out of copies. They're making copies.
Oh, sorry about that. Implicating statements, it helps you understand the degree of someone's pain that you have a solution for, okay? So an example of that, you know, an example of an implicating question is, how would your life be different if? So for Juice Plus, it's a health and wellness. It's all about getting fruits and vegetables in a capsule, 17 of them. You know, if you had to go a month with nothing else but Juice Plus, you would absolutely survive and then some, okay? So that's the solution. You want to understand how would your life be different if you had that, okay? Confirming questions allows you to confirm and verify the pain. So confirming for me, and a lot of times this tie-downs kind of fall into confirming questions. It's just like, isn't that so? Or can you see why that would be of value to you? So one of the things that we want to make sure is that you are incorporating implicating questions through the course of your discussion with somebody. Okay, it doesn't just come on the end when you're asking for the business. We're going to talk about that, okay, in just a moment. So we have questions like, how would your life be different? That's a curiosity question. Okay, what caused you to is a high-yielding question. What caused you to choose that particular company? What was it you liked about it? What was it about the products? Okay, so that's another one. Now, within the framework of these questions, I design a conversation very carefully, and these are called my personal objectives, and I want to share them with you because it really kind of gives framework to these particular questions, okay? I want to understand where they are, where they want to be, how's it going to feel when they're there, what's preventing them from being there, okay? Those are their obstacles. And then I quantify the kicker question, which is on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about getting those obstacles off your path? So I haven't, at this point, breathed one word about a solution, okay? This is just information gathering. And what this affords me the opportunity to do is to put my listening ears on. I'm thinking, as they're talking to me about all of these emotional trigger words that they're telling me. Emotional trigger words are thoughts and feelings, and I'd be so excited, it would be such a relief, it would take so much stress, my husband could retire, we could say, you know, all of the things that create comfort for us, those are the words that you want to be keying into. And it's really important that you're listening for those because you're going to tie those into your solution. When you're building toward a value proposition, you've got to use their words. They're telling you what they care and value, right? Make sense so far, you guys?
Yes.
That was a tie-down question. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're following along with me, it's really key that you're drilling deep in this place where you're gathering this individual's emotional trigger words, because you're going to need those, okay? I used to try to build value based on the things that I valued, and it never worked.